I'm Debbi Dachinger. Welcome to Dare to Dream. Be inspired to live big and bold and take action to turn your dreams into your reality. Go beyond obstacles and limits of your thinking. Accelerate results to catapult yourself to success. I'm a visibility expert who gives media makeovers to clients, booking them on media interviews and turning their books into international bestsellers with guaranteed results. Join me at DebbiDachinger.com. Dare to do great things. Dare to shine. It's all about you becoming a visionary and leading the pack. Welcome to your daring new life.
When you're pondering the big questions like, is there more than this? How can I have a happy relationship? What would it take to like my body? And how do I make more money? Where do you go for information and tools? Check out the online store at accessconsciousness.com. Accessconsciousness.com has books, DVDs, instant video and audio downloads, online classes, and so much more. Subjects include abuse, changing your body, recovery, raising children, business techniques, tools to generate more money, how to have better sex and healthier relationships, just to name a few. At accessconsciousness.com, you can also find facilitators who teach local classes on a variety of subjects. Accessconsciousness.com, your one-stop shop for tools to assist you in changing your life. All of life comes to us with ease, joy, and glory. Go to accessconsciousness.com to learn more.
This is Rob Rose standing in for Debbi Dachinger at the Conscious Life Expo, and we are here with Kelly Gallagher. Kelly, thanks for coming on the podcast.
Thanks for having me.
I've really been looking forward to this. I've followed a little bit of your work lately. I just discovered you a little while ago, but I was very excited. I think we're kind of kindred spirits in our journeys with the Big C, and I'm very interested to hear your views on maybe some of the more rebellious or anti-establishment aspects of what you're doing, alternative, as they sometimes say. I think the term alternative is misused. I don't know if you would agree. Sometimes I think allopathic should be the last-ditch alternative once more natural healing therapies have been tried. Do you agree?
I think that's probably the biggest thing that we're facing right now is that it seems as if they want to make everything that works illegal. So if a pomegranate works, let's ban it. If a mushroom works, you have to test it. And I think that there's so many things that we can get from nature, from the planet, whether you believe in God or the creator or the galaxy or the aliens, somebody brought everything on this planet that we really need, and people who want to patent it and call it their own are the ones that we're usually up against. I mean, I'm a 5-time cancer survivor. I've done it both ways. I've had a lot of chemo, I had a bone marrow transplant, but what really worked was really getting rid of the toxic thoughts, drinking more water, eating organically, cleaning out the pipes. We would, if we had a race car, you put in really pure, good gas. But we don't do the same things for our bodies. So I find that, when you really look into the control that big pharma and the medical establishment have over our lives, it's getting worse every day. I think I'm one of the producers of Vaxxed, right?
Absolutely.
So Vaxxed, just now, the FDA is coming out now saying that, they don't believe that the states know what they're doing when it comes to these vaccine laws, and now they might take over the whole vaccine mandates federally, which would be really scary. Right now, all these kids are getting vaccinated, and nobody's testing them genetically to find out if they have the MTHR gene, which they say between 20 and 40% have it, where you don't detoxify properly. So if you don't detoxify properly and somebody hits you with a big vaccine, that's why these kids' brains are swelling. They really have like an encephalitis, and they don't recover because they can't get rid of the toxic part of the vaccine. So it just seems that, and now they want to make them even more mandatory. They want to take away the religious exemption. They want to take away the the personal belief exemption, which has been taken away most everywhere, and now they're trying to limit the medical exemptions from the doctors. So they're going to make a doctor wrong if they write you a medical exemption, even if you needed it.
And isn't there a problem with the actual dosage, that the dosage isn't compensated for by the size of the individual? So sometimes people are, even, playing devil's advocate, even if the vaccine was warranted, aren't they sometimes getting far more of it than they would actually need?
I think that everything about vaccines has not been studied properly. That because of the 1986 Vaccine Act, where they made it where the little people can't sue the vaccine manufacturers, they're not liable. So they don't test them the way a drug is tested. So we all have problems with big pharma, but at least with, the pills and all the other medications, they go through phase 1, phase 2, and phase 3 clinical trials. Vaccines don't. They have no clinical trials, and most people don't know that there's a vaccine court. So, and to get to vaccine court, you have to have your doctor has to, say that it was the vaccine caused the problem. So there's so many hurdles for the parents that, they just wanted to do the right thing for their child, and they're scared into giving these vaccines. And now they've made the schedule so much more ambitious than it ever was. I mean, these kids are getting 72 doses of vaccines between birth and, 18 years of age. We didn't have that.
Yeah, that's true. Let me ask you something, just kind of a general question about the medical industry in general and its interests. I've heard it said that if there was a widely recognized cure for cancer that was cheap and available, that it would put so many people out of business that it would create a financial crisis that would rival or exceed the financial crisis of 2008. Have you heard?
If they made a vaccine that was cheap?
No, a cure for cancer. In other words, speaking of the cancer industrial complex, all of the makers of chemotherapy drugs, manufacturers of radiation equipment, all of this stuff, that do you think that there's a financial interest in keeping these therapies as standard of care instead of more benign type of therapies that might also work very well?
Absolutely. I think that, I think everything has its place, but when you take away all the other choices, you're basically saying there is no other way, and there are. And I think it's that makes it all about money. That makes it, there's most people aren't going to do the natural way because it's kind of scary. It's really hard. You have to do it really well. You gotta wanna, and you gotta do it, and so
it's definitely a lot more work and so much more responsibility.
A lot of responsibility, but the responsibility comes on your shoulders instead of just going to the doctor and letting them, they say a pill will fix you, and giving your power away to somebody in a white coat, which is what I think. We're trained to do that from the time we're very small. That the doctor knows best. And the doctor is another human being who doesn't really know best, who doesn't know everything.
I hate the phrase doctor's orders. I'm thinking,
right?
My God, I'm not going to let somebody order me what to do. People have to take responsibility for their own health care. I think one of the really sad things is even if a doctor really means well and is open-minded, they are so constrained by this whole standard of care edict that gets handed down from either the government or the insurance companies or something like that, to where if they deviate from that, they're opening themselves up to lawsuit.
Yeah, they're not allowed. They're not allowed to tell you this other stuff works or to go do that, and that's really sad, but there's something to grandma's chicken soup, all this bone broth. I mean, we bone broth, really? Now you can pay $10 for the chicken soup. You pay $3 for it because it now says bone broth on it. So it's I think absolutely there's a huge industry that profits off of our fear of dying. And that's big medicine, big equipment, all of these really high-powered machines. I was talking earlier to somebody that works in the world of thermography. When you get a thermography, it can tell the inflammation out through your whole body. You don't have to wait until you have cancer to know that you need to do something. We need to do something every day for our bodies. We need to take care of our bodies. People ask me, is there, a magic bullet? How did you get over cancer? And I think, drink more water and forgiveness. two things that are simple and super hard at the same time.
Yeah, hugely important. I was listening to a podcast the other day with Dr. Peter Attia, who's a wonderful guy, doctor out of San Diego, and Thomas Seyfried, who wrote The Metabolic Theory of Cancer. Are you familiar with Thomas Seyfried's work?
Yes.
Wonderful.
Yes.
Well, what Thomas Seyfried was making a comparison to was back in the days of Leonardo da Vinci and the question of whether the Earth was the center of the universe or not. And the Catholic Church insisted that it was, because that was church doctrine. And Mr. Da Vinci had the mathematical proof. He was effectively saying, oh, hey, Mr. Pope, come here and look, I can show you, I can prove to you that the Earth revolves around the sun. And the Pope would say something to the effect, well, no, I'm sorry, I don't even want to know. Church doctrine is church doctrine, and we're sticking to that. And he even had telescopes, and he would invite people to look through his telescope and provide absolute scientific proof, or science as it was in those days. And Thomas Seyfried was saying that's very much the state of affairs between some of the cutting-edge work that he's doing and the medical establishment, even his colleagues in cancer research, because so many people seem to be stuck on the DNA theory of cancer versus the metabolic theory of cancer. You have any thoughts on that subject? As far as where that kind of work falls into the larger scheme of things?
For me, I never really worked on cancer. I always worked on improving my immune system.
Okay.
So I never thought about dying. I always thought about how can I improve my immune system? How can I take another, you ever played like pick-up sticks? Remember that? Mm-hmm. Like on the monkey on the back, whatever. It's like, how can I take another stick off the pile that will take the weight off of my body? And I think, when you do enough of that, from geopathic stress to electromagnetic frequencies to dirty power to the water you're drinking and the different kind of cleaning things that you use in your home, and making sure you don't have mold, and there's just all these things that many people don't ever think about. And it could be the thing that's just destroying your immune system, which eventually over time shows up like cancer. Because our bodies, are trying to cope with this allergen or inflammation that eventually turns into something more. And so I think that the metabolic is much more. You have the power to overcome if you believe that route. Like if it's something that I can fix that, I can't really fix my DNA. You know what I mean?
Sure.
So I like to choose. I'm a solutionary. I like to choose the solution path for everything, and for all the things that I work on. But I think I'm always trying to figure out how can you fix it, not, I have a disease,
Well, in your own experience, could you narrow it down to maybe the top 3 or 4 things that really were the most effective for you? Obviously, there's dozens of things that we can tweak in our lifestyles and our diet and our toxic exposure and all these kind of things. And it can get overwhelming for people. But if you're, let's say, as any of our listeners are struggling with cancer or maybe a loved one, what are maybe just the top couple of things that you think were the most important in your own journey?
I think I was a swimmer. I was a competitive swimmer for years, and so I think I did foot baths, the ionic foot baths.
Really?
And at one point, like the whole room, it was really disgusting, but like everything smelled like chlorine. And I had been a swimmer, it was 20 years ago I was a swimmer, and all of a sudden I'm doing these ionic foot baths, and it's pulling these deep, deep toxins out of the body, and it's releasing things that are, I think, having that kind of effect. So I think the ionic foot baths, infrared sauna,
right.
I jump on a rebounder, doing really getting your alkaline water, getting better water, more water. I'm so guilty of not drinking enough water.
You drink Kangen water? Or?
No, I'm drinking something right now called cocoon water.
Okay.
And I really...
that sounds familiar.
Yeah, it's really amazing. But yeah, I like Kangen water, and I think it's great. And I worked for a water company called Langenberg Water, and they had amazing water. But water in general, just getting the water, making sure it doesn't have fluoride in it. So making sure that you've checked your teeth, And that's an expensive one, but it's also, if you, any way to afford to get that fixed, that's really the root of our problem. So, doing a whole lot of detox, if you've got a mouthful of mercury, is a little bit counterproductive because you're going to be pulling mercury out of your mouth into your body. So, I know I send people all the time down to Tijuana, Dr. Biafania, or I think it's American Metabolics. There's all kinds of great resources that are more cost effective and have great.
Oh, that's great. If you got any particular names, let's get those for you after we wrap up, and we can put them in the show notes, because I'm sure our listeners would really appreciate that.
I think that's probably one of the most important things you can do, because it's affecting everything.
Well, here's just kind of a general, kind of speculative type of question for you. What do you see happening over the next few years? Obviously, the field is changing. Obviously, there's the Thomas Seyfrieds and the Dom D'Agostinos of the world that are speaking out. You're making a huge impact with people who are aware of you. So it is changing, but it's changing slowly. Do you foresee a time when folks such as Kimberly, Meredith, and other energy healers type of people will have more of a prominence and be more accepted and respected amongst the the general population as a way to deal with these kind of challenges?
I hope so. Kimberly Meredith saved my life last year.
Really?
Yeah. I had walking pneumonia for months and nobody was catching it, and I went to see her, and Donna Schumann hooked me up with her, and
awesome.
I could barely walk from here to 20 yards. It was like, I can't walk. And Kimberly was great, and I'm glad that she's going to be on your show, and people will get to hear more about what she does. But I think people are good. I think that it's a split. I think that the consumer is waking up. I mean, we don't see organic food everywhere because people are asleep. I think that the consumers are kind of waking up, but that the medical establishment is clamping down. And I hate to be a paranoid person, but I see them, trying to crush chiropractic and crush homeopathy. And, why can't they be happy with 90% of the market share and leave the other 10% alone? Or maybe the other 1% alone. But it seems like it's got to be an all or nothing thing. Like they want us to believe one way. And that's what's scary to me. I see this with the vaccine movement, that they want everybody to be vaccinated. It doesn't matter where you come from or what your DNA is or what your past immune issues are. They're coming after you for, we must be vaccinated or people will die. And it's sort of like a bad sci-fi movie. And I think they're creating the zombie apocalypse that they've been predicting.
One of my favorite subjects,
Right.
Big zombie movie fan. What do you feel is the role of cannabis? Because there seems to be a lot of hopeful information on the horizon. I don't know if you watched that. There's a YouTube series maybe a year or two ago called The Sacred Plant, and they got into cancer, Alzheimer's, a number of conditions, arthritis, with a whole spectrum of approaches, vaping, topical treatments, different ratios of CBD, THC, that sort of thing. There seems to be some hope in that area. Are you following that space at all?
Yeah. I worked for an amazing company called Quicksilver Scientific a few years ago, and they developed a liposomal CBD oil, hemp oil, that has been life-changing for so many, and myself included. I think that they're finding that we have these cannabinoid receptors in our bodies that have been starved since this has been illegal, but it was really, hemp was a part of our life way back when, where it was kind of a staple in the diet, and you were surrounded by hemp, you wore hemp, you had hemp ropes, the sailboats had hemp, lines.
It's so interesting. There's almost like a symbiotic evolutionary development between the human species and that particular plant species, because almost wherever there was one, there was the other, and the whole endocannabinoid system is just so interesting, especially from an evolutionary standpoint.
Yes.
That it really makes you think that obviously the ancients knew a lot more than we did in some ways. go down that rabbit hole, but it's a discussion for Robert Schock.
I can go down the whole ayahuasca way too. There's a whole lot of plant medicine that I believe in, and I think it really helps people to accelerate through, therapy. You can go to therapy every week for the next 10, 15 years, or you can do ayahuasca for, 6 months and pop through all of those, past life problems, cosmic problems, current.
Have you known any type of more of the commonly used plant medicines to actually have a tangible effect on cancer?
Well, I think that you mean ayahuasca or CBD?
Ayahuasca, psilocybin, even the MDMAs, San Pedro, DMT.
I think they all have their place, and they all have their role in. I have a friend that just did the frog medicine. They won't let me do it because of my heart. But I did ayahuasca. I did probably about 12 times, and it really helped me to let go. I had a twin that died at birth that I didn't know about. I had all kinds of things that I had these revelations that I just knew were true, and I felt like I had cut cosmic cords off my body with a chainsaw from lifetimes, galaxies, planetary systems, and it was really freeing to do it. So I definitely think they have its place. I think that the cannabis and THC has a huge role in cancer and seizures, and the children that are the autism, the kids with autism, they're having a big effect in helping turn around some of them with CBD and hemp. And I think that it definitely has its place. I worry a little bit about vaping. I think somebody who, like for myself, has kind of some lung issues from all my other treatment and radiation. I just wonder, is the process really good for you?
Definitely better ways for sure.
But I think that it's something. Hemp and the pot was made illegal because of Bayer creating aspirin in 1931. I mean, they lobbied to get rid of that back then. So there's a.
Well, it was also the paper issue with Randolph Hearst. He was a heavy influencer because he was a paper magnate, and he didn't like the competition from the hemp industry.
Right. Right, so it's all been corporate.
Weird.
Yeah, I mean,
we promised we weren't going to get into politics.
I know, but it's like he who has the gold wins, and he who pays attention to what's going on in the state government and in the federal government. It's like the people with money are busy making laws while we're sitting at home, watching, CNN or MSNBC or Fox or whoever you believe in. We're all distracted while they're moving their balls down the field. And some of these laws, I'm concerned right now, is that, when they mandate that you get an injection into your body that has so many ingredients that are toxic. If I sprayed on your yard, all you environmentalists out there, if I sprayed on your yard what is in a vaccine, you'd have me arrested for poisoning your yard. But yet we're running to vaccinate our kids with, everything from polyurethane to freaking benzene and all kinds of stuff that, if you had one, you might go, okay, well, that's okay. But if you're going to give kids 8 vaccines at a time, and it's got all of these ingredients that are, the filler is more toxic than the virus that you just put into the body. I don't know. They got mercury and aluminum and things that people can't really recover from. Aluminum causes Alzheimer's.
We're almost to the end of our time. I'm so sad. I could keep talking to you forever. Is there anything that maybe you haven't talked about on other podcasts or interviews, or anything that you would really like to have our people know about that's new?
Yes, absolutely.
Please.
I'm working on a huge project right now, and like I said, I want to be a solutionary. I want to be somebody that's coming with solutions, because we all know that there's all this cosmic chaos and conspiracies and all this stuff happening. I'm working on a big bee project to restore the bees.
Awesome.
And it's called Pure Hive, and we are essentially, I met a gentleman who has come up with a way to restore the bee population, and it's called Beehab, and they're rehabbing bees. And healthy bees make healthy honey. Healthy bees, they're planting alfalfa and these super forage crops to help them to have kind of what with us. It's like we need superfoods, they need superfoods.
Absolutely.
And I'm really excited to get to be part of this new bee revolution to help our planet, because I think Einstein said if the bees go, we're 4 years behind them.
Well, if we can all do our part. I'm doing my part. I have a tangerine tree in my backyard with a lot of nice white blossoms, and the bees love it.
Yum.
So, I'm a big fan of bees.
Yeah, me too.
And all of their offerings, the propolis, the royal jelly, the pollen, it is all has a place in a health regimen.
Oh, we need them, and I'm also part of something called the World Dignity Forum, which is just rolling out right now, and it's calling people to action to come say what is dignity. So I think saving the planet, bees, cleaning up the food supplies and water supplies and protecting what we have is my mission.
Well, those are great ideas for all of us. Gotta wrap it up. God, I am so sorry. I've got a bunch more stuff we wanted to talk about, but we will save that for another day. Kelly, thanks a million for coming on Dare to Dream with Debbi Dachinger and Rob Rowe. And from the bottom of my heart, I really appreciate everything that you're doing.
Thank you, Rob. Thank you, Debbi. Thanks for having me. It's been awesome.
All right. Take care.
Hey everybody, this is Dr. Dane here, and I would like to invite you to an adventure in being. I've just written and finished a new book known as Being You, Changing the World. Are you one of those dreamers? One of those people who's always known that other possibilities should be available but haven't yet been able to see them be created? Well, I wrote this book for you. In it, you'll find tools, processes, and unique perspectives to change the things you've always wanted to change but didn't know how. In it, you'll find an invitation to a different possibility for a way that we can be in this world that changes not only our lives, but by being us, allows us to contribute to changing everything planet-wide that doesn't work. Are you aware that truly great people, truly being them, is the only thing that has ever created a great change on this planet? Are you willing to step up? Are you willing to be one? Check out a copy of my new book, Being You, Changing the World. I invite you to go to beingyoubook.com for a free gift.
Have a dream but not clear how to manifest it? Feel like the rest of the world was given the secret to achieving their dreams except for you? This acclaimed book, Wisdom to Success, The Surefire Secrets to Accomplish All Your Dreams, was written for you. Author Debbi Dachinger received the Inspiration Book of the Year Award and Critics' Pick from U.S. Book Review and Writer's Digest for Wisdom to Success. It's a life-changing read, available at Amazon.
Hi, this is Rob Rowe at the Conscious Life Expo, standing in for Debbi Dachinger on the Dare to Dream podcast. We are live with Kimberly Meredith. Kimberly, thank you so much for coming on the podcast.
Thank you for having me.
Well, there's so much I'd like to talk to you about, but let's just start with the fact that you and I have been acquainted before. I came to one of your healings at the, I believe it's a Unitarian church over in Santa Monica, and I really got a chance to witness firsthand, how you worked. And there were a couple people there that had, some pretty serious issues, and it appeared that you had some success with that. Have you followed up with these people, or have you talked to them to see how they're doing or anything like that?
Yes, I have. They're doing quite well. Everything is moving along. With one of the gentleman's knees was completely healed, and the other gentleman that was there that day has no desire to use drugs anymore. He's completely lost the urge to smoke what he was smoking, and his addiction to alcohol is gone.
Well, that's wonderful.
Yeah, it is. Praise God.
So you and I had a treatment the other day, and we worked on my overall immune system. You did a scan. We talked a little bit about, just in case any of our listeners are wondering what might actually happen in a treatment with you. We talked a little bit about it, what was going on, and I know you have some formal medical training too, in addition to your more energy-based and spiritually-based abilities. So it's a really good combination. And I got on your table, you scanned me with your hands, and you noticed that I had some lymph node issues in my throat. And I have been continually feeling those, and they have not come back. So I was pretty blown away, and it was just like 1 minute they were there and 1 minute they weren't. So I can completely attest to the effectiveness of your treatments. There's a lot out there about what you're doing and how you do what you do. I was kind of curious about a couple things in your work. You mentioned when we talked, and you've mentioned before, that you had a pretty traumatic car accident back in 2012. Is that right?
Yes.
Do I remember right?
Yes.
And I've noticed that other people who are in the same general space, I know Anita Morjani almost died and had a near-death experience. I know that some other people have had kind of traumatic events. What is your feeling on experiencing some sort of a trauma in your life and then coming out on the other side with abilities? Why do you think that's a common thing that a lot of people experience?
Okay, well, just to go back with a few of the questions that you asked me, I'm not sure that everyone that has a near-death experience comes out with healing abilities. I do feel that people that have near-death experiences do have different quests to do things. I do feel that my own near-death experience had awoken me to my real who I am. I was born already with abilities, and they were pushed away dramatically through in a very abusive childhood. I was born with blinking eyes. I was born with mediumship abilities, and they were pushed away by my mother, who did not like me blinking my eyes, and I stopped it at a very young age. When I was hit by the car in 2012, in December, in 2013, I had coded at the hospital, and when many months later, I had the near-death experience shift. I had woken to my true self. The truth was that my eyes started blinking again, and then I accepted that my quest was that I had these unusual healing abilities, and I accepted them. I was working as a nurse professional before. I had always had these unusual kinds of paranormal shifts happening in my life, but I never fully accepted it until now. Why I am drawn to lay hands on people now, why I'm drawn to do this medical mediumship, is because I listen to my guides. I listen to God, our Father, Holy Spirit. And when people like you are accepting the energy like you were the day I worked on you, it will dissolve. It will leave. It will diminish off the body.
Okay. Well, excellent. Where do you see this going? We had talked a little bit about some of your future plans, but I'm very much a future kind of guy. I like to follow future trends in technology, in knowledge, in just trends, and I think this is a really, really interesting trend that we're seeing. There's so much more interest in energy healing. Do you have like a roadmap of what you might like to see happen in the future and then just the next couple of years as this type of process expands out more toward the general population?
Yes, they're blinking right now. I have multiple blinking codes with my eyes, and they're answering you, Rob, with saying God is leading the way. They're going God, God, God. So I sign language. They've taught me to sign and blink in codes like a sacred geometry code blink, and they're blinking. They're moving forward in the fifth dimension. They've blinked 5, 3 blinks confirm, and they are blinking that people will learn to connect more to the divine loving God by honoring each other. More people will be awakened, which is very cool. Shifting to understand that we can heal ourselves. We'll be more alerted to the poisons in the world, stuff that we should not be eating and drinking, the stuff that we can eat and drink, and things that we can shift our consciousness, because we do have an inner and there's an outer consciousness, and we don't even use half of our brains. We'll be able to use more of our brain consciousness.
Wonderful. Well, you've got a pretty significant online presence. You mentioned that you've got some plans in the work. I don't know how much of this is top secret, or maybe you can talk a little bit about maybe getting into maybe some television work or something like that. Do you have any plans to be able to take the knowledge that you have, and if somebody has even a slight gift for it, to be able to take maybe a student or maybe teach some classes to train other practitioners in skills like you have? I know everybody might have their own talents and so on, but to be able to get this type of technique out more into the world through training other people to be practitioners?
Absolutely. They're blinking that when Dr. Norm Shealy was testing me, and he's very, very strict with his testing, he did mention that he thought that I would move into more of a school for teaching others my techniques of laying on hands. And I do want to do that. I want to do more teaching. I can't teach people to blink like I do and scan as fast as I do, but I can teach people and awaken them with my DNA activations, and teach people the laying on hands and the surgery. I can teach people, the guides are telling me, to do psychic surgery. I can teach people to heal themselves. This is something the guides want me to do more of.
Well, it sounds like a wonderful plan. Do you envision maybe some sort of a certification or some sort of maybe a formalized training? I know it was probably really challenging because everybody's gifts are different. Everybody works in maybe a slightly different way depending upon what their natural inclinations are. But do you see maybe the future of some sort of formalized process to where somebody could say, hey, I'm trained by Kimberly Meredith and I have like a certificate or something?
They are saying that they would like that. They would also like a nonprofit organization healing center where people don't have to pay so much to have healings, and there could be ozone therapies and working with other holistic practitioners together in helping the community of Los Angeles, California.
Wow, that would be awesome.
Yes, there's a lot of ways to heal people, and cancer doesn't have to be so feared anymore, and other suppressed issues. Yeah, a lot of good things ahead.
In some of the other people that you encounter, I kind of envisioning you might be, kind of like a music teacher or something like that, who might be able to spot students who really have gifts in music. Somebody might be really gifted in violin, or somebody might be really gifted in rhythm for percussion or something like that. Is it kind of like that? Do you sometimes encounter people who have good gifts in the field of energy healing, but it might manifest in a different way than the blinking that you do?
I absolutely can spot a medium or a healer or somebody that is gifted immediately. And I absolutely can spot somebody who has cancer or immune suppressed disease that is going to be healed absolutely immediately. I know when somebody that walks through my door in my practice or in a large event, and I know when they are going to be healed through God immediately. And the ones that are not going to.
Okay. I
know immediately.
That's awesome. What would be, in terms of a general sense, I know that you gave me a nice 3 or 4 page handout of some recommendations, and
yes.
This is based on your training as a formal medical practitioner in addition to your other gifts, which is great.
That form was not the form. The homework I gave you was all on scientific researches and me and my guides finding those recommendations of the probiotics and the silica gels, and that was only from me being a medical medium.
Okay.
And the recommendations about not having fish and certain fruits. Yes. Go ahead.
For our listeners that might be struggling with some kind of a health challenge, might be a wide variety of things. Are there maybe a top 3 or 4 things that you might recommend that are just good general health practices to boost the immune system, no matter what somebody might be struggling with? Obviously, our immune systems are the foundation of our, building a state of perfect health into the future.
Yes, absolutely. I do have my top 3. One of the most important things I would ever say to anybody is please do not drink tap water, take a shower in tap water, take a bath in tap water, go into any kind of spa facility in Los Angeles, California. I don't care if it's, I can't say the names of them, but you are looking at blowing out your immune system immediately. And I know some people brag, I drink tap water. Well, you're drinking full-blown chlorine. And this is not something to be laughing about or think it's funny to wash your baby in a chlorine bathtub. There is something right now, I don't make any money on it. This is to save your life. You go on Amazon, it's under rain shower, it's a bath ball, you put it in your tub, and you could live in the poorest part, wherever you are living. It's like $20, pulls all the chlorine out of your bathtub, and you could take a nice bath with clean, pure water. Drinking water out of glass is just fine for you. And there are companies that have water out there. There's Mountain Valley Spring Water. You look into it, it's not that bad, and you can pour the water into glass containers or copper bottles and throw away plastic. And also plastic going into the ocean. The ocean is polluted. The fish are polluted. And the more you eat fish, you're eating a piece of estrogen and cancer.
Absolutely. Now, let me switch gears a little bit. There's something I've been very curious about. You've mentioned terminology often associated with Christianity. You've mentioned, Mother Mary, Jesus sometimes. You mentioned God and angels. Is there a particular type of faith or religious beliefs that is important for a person to have a successful healing? Or let's say, for example, somebody walks in and say, hey, I'm a total atheist. I don't believe in angels or anything. Would they still be able to be healed? Or is there, some sort of a spiritual, belief in other things besides ourselves, whatever they might be, that's important for the person to be able to heal with your techniques?
I had an agnostic this morning in my room in the hotel. She had 3 tumors on her breast. It's okay to talk about. She gave me a testimonial. All 3 of them were cancer, and they're gone.
Okay.
So to talk about it, she loves the omnipresent, which to her is the universal energy of love. I was raised a Jew. I'm half Jewish. I also speak in Hebrew. I love Jesus. He was Jewish. I'm not a religion. All we need is love in our bodies and to praise. I praise the energy of God. I bow down to God. I listen to God. But I believe that as long as we acknowledge that there is a loving energy healing us, and we are grateful for that, amen.
Amen.
But we have to also acknowledge there is another energy here that is not so kind. And we need to know when that energy is harming us, and we need to know when the other energy, which is God, is helping us and loving us. And the difference is very important to acknowledge.
Okay. Well, that makes a lot of sense. Is there anything that you would like Debbi's listeners to know about that maybe you haven't talked about, maybe on other media outlets, or is there anything that's maybe up to the minute, new things happening in this field that you'd like to share with our listeners before we wrap up?
Well, I do have my own radio show.
Oh.
It's on kcaaradio.com. It's called the Medical Intuitive Miracle Show. It's on every Tuesday nights at 7 p.m. You can witness the miracles on the show live. And if you want to come on the show for a free scan and healing, my scans and healings are $300 over in my practice. And this way, I'm reaching out to the public that can't afford to come see me. And this is like a donation to you to come. You go onto my website, thehealingtrilogy.com. You fill out the form. If you meet the criteria, then you're brought on to the station. And a lot of people love this so they can get a healing and a scan, because sometimes they can't find out what's wrong with them. They go to a lot of doctors. They cannot figure out what's happening, and I can be of service this way to you while I'm here. And this is an opportunity for you. And then you get this, and you get the whole program for you also. And on top of that, I also see you as a follow-up in my office for free.
Wow. That is really generous.
It is, and I'm willing to do this right now. So you would go onto my website, fill out the form, and one of the producers will get in contact with you.
Awesome. Well, Kimberly, thank you so much. You've been really generous with your time. I know it's a whirlwind situation here. There's a lot going on. And
well, you're amazing too, Rob. God bless you.
Well, thank you very much. All right, we will talk soon, I'm sure. And this is the Dare to Dream podcast with Debbi Dachinger and Rob Rowe.
Thank you, Debbi.
Over and out.
Thanks.
To contact the award-winning syndicated Dare to Dream radio show, go to DebbiDachinger.com. Keep your excellent feedback and comments coming. Your host, Debbi Dachinger, is an expert at goal achievement, a media personality, an international best-selling author, and a keynote speaker. Debbi leads high-quality teleseminars on how to achieve goals, how to be a self-published best-selling author, and how to get booked on radio. All classes are at DebbiDachinger.com. Debbi's best-selling books are Dare to Dream, This Life Counts, sold on Amazon, and her second book, Wisdom to Success, The Secrets to Accomplish All Your Dreams, sold online at all bookstores. Tune in again to hear the next inspiring interview guest who has turned their vision into a successful reality. Want more support in making your dreams come true? Go to DebbiDachinger.com. That's www.DebbiDachinger.com. You'll see videos, MP3s, archived interviews, and amazing products sharing the secret steps to making your dreams come true. Remember to dream big with every expectation that your dream will become real. Dreams are free, so free your dreams. What do you dare to dream?
Here I'm standing now, waiting for my time to be all that I can be. It's so easy to forget, life is in my hands, and I can change it if I want. Nothing's impossible no more, if you only dare. If you dare to dream, if you just believe, you can make anything come true. You dare to dream, trust in what you feel, and create something real, changing your destiny. And nothing's impossible if you dare to dream. Everything must start with two empty hands. That's just the way it's got to be. Things are gonna grow before you even know. It's like flying without wings. Anything's possible right now, if you only dare. If you dare to dream, if you just believe, you can make anything come true. Dare to dream, trust in what you feel, and create something real, changing your destiny. And nothing's impossible.
Isn't it time to stop the frustration and excuses and instead create a life that you love? Introducing the magic of creating your dreams. Go to Debbi-Dachinger.com and click on products. In the magic of creating your dreams, Debbi shares effective, easy-to-apply tools to change the course of your life in miraculous ways. With these powerful tools, you can finally achieve your dreams. Debbi-Dachinger.com, the magic of creating your dreams.
What would you say if I told you that you could change your life in only 1 hour and all while lying down relaxing? Thousands of people all over the world have. What am I talking about? It's called Access Consciousness, the bars. The bars is an energetic body process that contains 32 different points on your head that, when run, assist you in releasing decisions about any area of your life that you have made solid and as a result cannot change. The bars is the first class in Access Consciousness, a dynamic set of tools and information designed to transform any area of your life. When you have a bar session, the worst that can happen is you feel like you had a fantastic massage. The best thing that can happen is your whole life could change. Go to accessconsciousness.com today to find a facilitator to schedule a private session or to find a bars class in your area. Are you willing to give yourself an hour to change your life?
Have a dream but not clear how to manifest it? Feel like the rest of the world was given the secret to achieving their dreams except for you? This acclaimed book, Wisdom to Success, The Surefire Secrets to Accomplish All Your Dreams, was written for you. Author Debbi Dachinger received the Inspiration Book of the Year Award and Critics' Pick from U.S. Book Review and Writer's Digest for Wisdom to Success. It's a life-changing read, available at Amazon.